What if the darkest face in Wednesday's world is not a monster hiding in the shadows, but someone already standing close to her? The trailer for Wednesday Season 2 Part 2 drops a chilling hint. A new villain has arrived, and this enemy might be more dangerous than anything Wednesday has faced before. The images are quick, unsettling, and dripping with mystery. An unfamiliar figure moving through Nevermore's halls, a sharp glance exchanged in the dead of night, and a sinister laugh echoing behind locked doors. Fans who thought the first half of the season was dark are about to discover that Part 2 is even more twisted. The first thing that stands out in the trailer is the way this villain is presented, not as an obvious monster, but as someone hidden, clever, and deliberate. The shots avoid showing their full face, which is no accident. It's a storytelling trick meant to keep the audience guessing while building suspense. Could this villain be a new arrival at Nevermore? Or could it be someone we already know, now revealing a darker side? That mystery is what makes the trailer so powerful, because it keeps us asking questions. The unsettling whispers, the sudden flickers of movement, and the way the music shifts into a low, pounding rhythm all suggest that this new threat will not just attack with brute force, it will strike with intelligence, manipulation, and timing. Looking closer at the details, the villain's connection to Wednesday seems personal. A particular moment in the trailer shows Wednesday stopping mid-step, her eyes narrowing as if she has recognized someone she thought was gone, or perhaps a truth she has tried to avoid. The editing cuts away before we see who it is, leaving us unsettled. Another shot hints at a diary or an old book being opened, its pages filled with strange drawings and symbols. Could this be linked to the villain's backstory? Wednesday's world has always been steeped in curses, prophecies, and dark family history. It would make sense for this new villain to tie into those themes, especially if they are part of a bigger plot to unravel Nevermore from the inside. The trailer also plays with shadows in a way that feels intentional. Whenever the villain's presence is teased, the lighting drops, plunging the scene into near darkness with only fragments of light to guide us. This suggests that the villain thrives in secrecy, lurking where others cannot see. It's not just physical danger that Wednesday will face, it's psychological warfare. A whisper in the dark, a friend acting strangely, a room that feels colder when entered. These are all cues that this villain wants to break Wednesday's mind before striking at her heart. The build-up is slow, tense, and filled with dread. But here's the most important thing. Wednesday isn't just going to fight an enemy, she's going to be tested by them. This villain could expose her weaknesses, challenge her sense of trust, and force her to make impossible choices. The trailer's quick flashes show moments of doubt in Wednesday's usually steady expression. A hand clutches a blade, but it's unclear whether it's hers or the villain's. A broken mirror reflects Wednesday's face, cracked into fragments, symbolizing how she might feel torn between who she is and who she could become. These are not just visual details, they're story promises, hinting that this villain will shake her identity to its core, and what makes it even more chilling is the possibility that betrayal is tied directly to this character. If the new villain is someone close, someone hiding their true nature until now, then Wednesday won't just be fighting a stranger, she'd be fighting the weight of her own trust. That is what makes this setup so powerful, because fans know that Wednesday rarely lets people in. If she has, and that person turns out to be the true danger, the fallout will be explosive. This is only the beginning of what Part 2 has to offer. With this villain stepping out of the shadows, the story is moving into its darkest, most suspenseful chapter yet. And if the trailer is anything to go by, we're about to see Wednesday pushed beyond her limits, facing not just a threat to her life, but to her very sense of control. The question now is simple. When the mask finally drops, will Wednesday be ready for the truth? Asterisk shadows linger in the corners of Nevermore Academy, and the trailer for Wednesday Season 2 Part 2 makes it clear this is no longer just a school filled with strange outcasts. It is becoming a place haunted by secrets too old and too dark to remain buried. The second half of the season promises to explore mysteries that stretch beyond the walls, deeper into the very foundation of Nevermore itself. And if the trailer is any indication, Wednesday is about to discover truths that could unravel not just the academy, but her own identity in ways she never expected. One of the most striking images in the trailer is a hidden door slowly creaking, open behind the library shelves, revealing a narrow passage lit only by flickering candles. The walls are marked with strange carvings, symbols that look like they belong to a forgotten ritual. This isn't just a clue, it's a warning. The trailer suggests that Nevermore hides more than just quirky classrooms and gothic dorms. It hints at an underground network of tunnels, sealed rooms, and forbidden places that have been kept secret from students for decades. These settings scream danger, but they also promise discovery. For Wednesday, uncovering what lies beneath. Nevermore is not just curiosity, it's survival. Another shot shows a dusty artifact placed carefully on a table, surrounded by students staring in shock. Its design is old, twisted, and unnerving. What could this object be? Fans are already theorizing that it's tied to a curse, perhaps something connected to the Addams family's past. The fact that Wednesday touches it in the trailer is no accident. Her connection to this artifact may awaken something long dormant, pulling her into a deeper mystery. The way the camera lingers on her reaction suggests this is not just another school relic. It is something that holds the power to change the entire story. The trailer also leans into gothic horror. Imagery: storm clouds rolling over the Nevermore campus, the moon turning blood red, and the sudden appearance of creatures lurking in the woods. These aren't random scares. They are carefully chosen to remind us that Nevermore is built on centuries of secrets. The forest itself seems alive, whispering, shifting, and hiding dangers that only come out when the time is right. One particularly chilling moment shows Wednesday standing in the woods with her lantern, the glow illuminating dozens of eyes watching her from the shadows. This suggests that Part 2 will take us beyond the academy walls, into places where rules do not exist and danger has no limits, but the darkest mystery hinted at in the trailer doesn't come from objects or creatures, it comes from the people who run Nevermore. A single clip shows Principal Weem's successor in a tense conversation with Wednesday, her expression guarded, almost fearful. Could the new leadership at Nevermore be hiding something? The trailer's editing makes it feel as though the adults in charge know far more than they are admitting. Perhaps the academy itself is built on lies, its history rewritten to hide betrayals, sacrifices, or even deals made with dark forces. This raises a terrifying question. How much of what Wednesday has been told about Nevermore can she actually trust? The sound design in the trailer adds another layer of mystery. A faint whisper plays over several key moments, but it's impossible to make out the words. This whisper is no accident. It's an audio clue designed to make viewers lean in, to feel unsettled, and to wonder whether Wednesday herself is being haunted. Could this be the voice of a past student, a warning from the beyond? Or, perhaps, even the voice of the villain manipulating her mind? The use of whispers in horror storytelling usually symbolizes temptation or corruption, and placing it here suggests that the mystery will not just be about solving puzzles, it will be about resisting influence. The editing also suggests that Wednesday will struggle with dreams or visions. Quick flashes show her standing in a strange room filled with smoke, looking at herself in a cracked mirror. These images feel symbolic, suggesting that the mysteries of Nevermore will also test her inner world. Perhaps she is being drawn into a prophecy, one that she cannot escape no matter how hard she tries. This would make sense, as Wednesday has always been portrayed as someone tied to destiny. Whether she wants to be or not, what makes these mysteries so powerful is not just their gothic aesthetic, but the way they threaten to isolate Wednesday. The trailer shows her walking alone through long, empty hallways, her footsteps echoing while her friends appear less frequently than before. This could mean that the deeper she goes into these mysteries, the more she risks cutting herself off from others. And if the villain is somehow tied to these secrets, then every discovery may push her closer to danger. By the end of the trailer, one image stands above the rest. Wednesday standing at the edge of a dark chasm, the wind howling around her as if she's about to step into a place where no one else dares to go. This isn't just a physical space, it's symbolic of her journey, The mysteries of Nevermore are calling her, and they will demand answers. But the price of uncovering them could be higher than she ever imagined. Asterisk trust is a fragile thing in Wednesday's world. And the trailer for Wednesday Season 2 Part 2 makes it clear that betrayal will be at the heart of the story. For a character like Wednesday, who already struggles to let people into her life, betrayal is more than just a twist in the plot, it's a knife to the core of her identity. The trailer doesn't just tease monsters or mysteries, it hints at the kind of personal treachery that could change everything. Leaving Wednesday unsure of who to trust, who to fight, and who to destroy. The first clue of betrayal comes in a quick, almost hidden shot. Wednesday sitting at a table, her face tense, her eyes locked on someone across from her. The camera lingers just long enough to show her fingers tightening on the edge of her chair, as if holding back an outburst. This moment feels deeply personal, not a clash with a stranger, but a confrontation with someone close. The fact that the trailer cuts away immediately after this shot suggests the show wants to hide the identity of the betrayer, leaving fans to wonder who among her allies will turn against her. What makes this so powerful is that Wednesday has spent much of her journey slowly learning how to trust. In Season 1, she pushed everyone away until she realized that survival sometimes requires allies. In Part 1 of Season 2, we saw her build fragile connections with people who stood by her side. So the idea that betrayal is coming means the writers are ready to shatter her progress, forcing her to face the pain of being deceived just when she allowed herself to care. That is classic Gothic storytelling, hope raised, only to be torn apart. The trailer also teases a love triangle that may play a role in this betrayal. A brief shot shows Wednesday watching from a distance as two characters exchange a look filled with tension and secrecy. Was this romantic? Was it strategic? Either way, the suggestion is that someone is hiding something from her. Romance in Wednesday has always been tricky, never simple or pure. If betrayal comes through love, it will hit even harder because Wednesday has always been wary of emotion. To have her suspicions proven right in such a painful way could push her deeper into isolation or worse, into vengeance. Another layer of betrayal may come not from friends but from authority. The trailer shows Nevermore's new leadership whispering in private, cutting deals behind closed doors. Wednesday has never trusted adults, and perhaps with good reason. If the Academy's leaders are working with darker forces or even covering up the villain's true nature, then betrayal comes from the very institution meant to protect its students. That would turn Nevermore from a home into a prison of lies. With Wednesday trapped in the middle, what makes betrayal even more chilling is the way it is suggested through visuals in the trailer. One quick scene shows Wednesday's hand reaching out to someone only for that person to pull away. Another shows a shattered photograph lying on the ground, faces scratched out as though someone wanted to erase bonds that once mattered, and perhaps the most striking, Wednesday walking through a hallway lined with her classmates, only to realize they are all staring at her with suspicion. These images create the sense that betrayal is not just personal, but widespread, that she may be turned into an outcast even among the outcasts. There's also the possibility that betrayal won't come from someone else, it could come from within. The trailer shows Wednesday looking at herself in the broken mirror again, but this time her reflection is smiling while she remains expressionless. This could be a metaphor, but in a show like Wednesday, metaphors often become reality. Could the betrayal be her own darker impulses rising up, threatening to consume her? If the new villain is tied to her family or her past, Wednesday may face the ultimate test, to fight not just an external enemy, but the shadows inside herself. The theme of betrayal is tied closely to power. If the villain of Part 2 is as clever as the trailer suggests, then betrayal will be one of their weapons. Instead of attacking openly, they might twist loyalties, sow seeds of doubt, and turn Wednesday's allies against her. We already see this hinted at in the way the trailer frames her isolation. The villain doesn't need to defeat Wednesday in a direct battle if they can make her stand alone. Mistrusting everyone, then they've already won half the war. The most haunting image comes near the end of the trailer. Wednesday standing in the middle of a ruined hall, the stained glass windows shattered, the firelight flickering behind her. Around her are scattered belongings of her friends, but none of them are present. Her expression is unreadable, but the silence is loud. It feels like the aftermath of a betrayal so deep that even Wednesday, stoic, cold, and unflinching, has been shaken. In the end, Betrayal in Wednesday Season 2 Part 2 will not just be a twist for shock value. It will be the force that pushes the story into darker, more emotional territory. It will test Wednesday's strength, not just as a fighter or investigator, but as a human being capable of trust and connection. And when the betrayer's identity is finally revealed, fans can expect the fallout to be explosive, painful, and unforgettable. Power is not always about strength, it's about transformation. In Wednesday Season 2 Part 2, the trailer makes it clear that Wednesday Addams is changing, and not in small ways. We've seen her face monsters, unravel conspiracies, and clash with the people closest to her. But now she stands on the edge of something bigger, an evolution that will test every part of her identity. The Wednesday we meet in Part 2 may not be the same girl we watched in Season 1. She's darker and carrying the weight of secrets that could either destroy her or make her unstoppable. The first sign of her transformation comes through her presence in the trailer. In earlier seasons, Wednesday often walked with a cool detachment, her posture stiff, her face unreadable. But now, her body language has shifted. One scene shows her standing in a dimly lit corridor, shoulders squared, eyes locked on the camera, as if daring the world to challenge her. She doesn't look like a student anymore, she looks like a leader, or perhaps even something scarier. This visual evolution signals that Part 2 isn't just about her solving mysteries, it's about her stepping into a role that demands both power and sacrifice. Wednesday's evolution also appears in how the trailer hints at her growing abilities. A flash shows her clutching her temples, visions flooding in faster and more violently than before. In Season 1, her psychic powers were unpredictable, almost inconvenient. But here they look stronger, painful, yes, but also sharper, more controlled. The question is whether these visions are a gift or a curse. If the villain can manipulate her mind, then her powers could betray her at the worst possible moment. Yet if she learns to master them, they could be the very thing that saves Nevermore. This tension between control and chaos is at the heart of her evolution. She's no longer just reacting, she's deciding how much of the darkness to let in. Emotionally, her growth is even more complex. The trailer hints at Wednesday being pulled into situations where trust and vulnerability become unavoidable. A shot shows her sitting alone in her room, her usually cold face softening just for a moment as she stares at a note or photograph. It's a fleeting vulnerability, but it's enough to remind us that, beneath her armor, there's still a girl who feels. This evolution of emotion is dangerous because it opens the door to betrayal and pain, but it also makes her human, and humans can inspire loyalty even in the darkest of times. Part 2 may push her to decide whether to protect herself by staying cold, or risk everything by letting others in. There's also a symbolic element to her growth. In one sequence, the trailer shows Wednesday in a new costume, her iconic black and white look now updated with sharper edges, darker fabrics, and almost militaristic lines. This isn't just a fashion choice, it's a reflection of her internal change. She's evolving from an observer of chaos into a force of it. The shift in wardrobe suggests a shift in story. Wednesday isn't just solving mysteries anymore. She's preparing for war, but perhaps the most fascinating part of her evolution is the way the trailer shows her confronting her reflection. Twice, we see her face in broken glass, once calm and once with a flicker of a smile she doesn't wear in real life. This duality suggests that her transformation might not be purely heroic. There's a darkness inside her that has always been present, but Part 2 could bring it forward like never before. Will she embrace it to defeat her enemies, or resist it to hold on to the last piece of innocence she has left? This conflict between light and dark within herself may be the most important mystery of all. Her evolution also connects directly to her relationships. A quick montage shows her standing with her friends, but she's always slightly apart, her posture more commanding than theirs. It feels like she's becoming the one others look to for direction, whether she wants that responsibility or not. Leadership is not something Wednesday has ever sought, but Part 2 seems ready to thrust it upon her. And the cost of leadership is high. Every decision will have consequences, and not all of them will be ones she can live with. The trailer's final moments emphasize just how far she might go. Wednesday is shown holding a weapon not the usual. Improvised tools she favors, but something heavier, sharper, and dripping with intent. The expression on her face is chillingly calm, as though she has already accepted what she must do. This isn't the Wednesday who avoided emotions or mocked heroics. This is a Wednesday prepared to make choices that cross lines, choices that could leave blood on her hands. And once that line is crossed, there's no going back. Ultimately, Wednesday's evolution in Season 2 Part 2 is about transformation through fire. Every betrayal, every mystery, every confrontation with